Hello, and welcome to what is now the fourth part of a multi-part Starbase tutorial series. In this one, we are going over FCUs, NFCs, and main thrusters. Ooh, if you want to get your ship to fly, you kinda need these. And this was arguably one of the hardest things for me to learn when I first started playing Starbase. So now, you all don't have to go through all the pain and torture of watching a time-lapse to figure out how to do it all. Yay. Quick disclaimer. This is closed alpha. We are recording this on the 4th of January, 2021. I think I said 2020 in previous episodes. Everything is subject to change at the time of recording. Everything's as it is. If you're in the future and something's not quite right, something changed, don't get mad at me about it, please. Anyway, to the video. There's no clapping this time. Ooh, tricked ya. These are your flight control units. This is the basic one. This is your advanced one. That's your premium one. All of these will have your FCU forward, backward, pitch, yaw, and roll. That's what your basic one has. If you need a basic ship, you have a basic flight control unit. You need both of these, by the way. Flight control unit and main flight computer. We'll get to why you need this in a second. Your advanced will have your forwards, backwards, pitch, yaw, roll, though it also has up, down, left, and right. So you're strafing. And that's really useful. And then your premium has the additional of whatever these are. Back, use front and backwards thrust to turn. Oh. Okay. If you lose some maneuver thrusters, you can turn with main thrust. For combat, but that's all. Fair enough. Now that we've covered your flight control units, you also need your main flight computer. Flight control units take your inputs, and they tell your flight control computer what thrusters need to fire. So each one of these, your thrusters should be named this. And they should automatically do that, because of the new naming systems, which is very nice. So your thruster state, if it's on your ship, then it will automatically rename it to thruster power level 01. Now, if thrusters are together, take the triangle thruster. Triangle thrusters have the very nice ability to be able to go ahead and just snap together. That way, only one hard point is needed for all of them, which is brilliant. The same doesn't work for the box thruster, sadly. You need one hard point for each one, unlike the triangle thrusters. Though in this case, you can get away with renaming both of these to the same thruster name. The difference is if, say, both thrusters are named thruster power level 01. If thruster power level 01 is set to 100, then both of these will fire at 100. However, if this is thruster power level 01 and that's 02, then maybe 01 will fire at 98% and this one will fire at 15%. So, it's up to you what you're going to name them. What is the difference between the box thruster and the triangle thruster? The first and largest difference is, of course, the size. So the triangle thruster is quite a bit smaller than the box thruster, and in my opinion, very, very easier to go ahead and put it into at least a small ship. Now, stats-wise, so your box thruster is going to give you 500,000 thrust, which is quite a bit for a small craft. Though it's also large size, it's going to consume 23.3 propellant per second, as well as 140 electricity per second. That's to keep in mind. However, your triangle thruster is only going to produce 300,000 thrust per second, and it's going to consume 35 propellant per second and 17.5 electricity per second. So a box thruster is going to consume a lot more energy than propellant, and your triangle thruster is going to produce more, or going to consume more propellant than electricity. It's also going to produce less thrust. And I forgot one. You also have the maneuvering thruster. These are for, well, you guessed it, maneuvering. So say, these are for if you want to like turn, yaw, roll your ship. It's all of that. You can, if it's a very large ship, you may want to use like triangle or box thrusters for it. The most of the time, in Getaway, the Manuver Thruster, which produces 50,000 thrust, and it's consuming 11.7 propellant per second and 5 electricity per second. So these are really inefficient if you're using them for thrust, because they consume a lot of propellant compared to the thrust that they output. However, for just doing all sorts of maneuvering and turning, you're gonna wind up using those. Now, thruster orientation is also quite useful. So, for instance, if you want to roll really quick, then you're gonna want thrusters far away from your center of mass. For instance, take my Micro 10 for instance. It has maneuver thrusters far away from the center of mass. Fun fact, take the durability tool, click on it, and wherever that S is, that's where your center of mass is. However, since our maneuver thrusters are a long ways away, then we're going to roll really fast. Same with pitch. Since we have thrusters far away from the center of mass, we're going to pitch. Bonus fact, for your ship frame to be valid, then you are going to need a hard point, 2 bolts, and going in directly into beams for your frame to be valid. So if you're having that issue, it's probably that. And you need your thrusters connected to hard points so that way you get stress. Yeah, that's kind of it for thrusters. There's not really much to them. They seem complicated at first, especially to get them all hooked up and ready. However, once you have that all sorted, then you're kind of good. If you have any questions, just ask in the comments, and hopefully I'll remember to actually check and answer. Or maybe someone else down there will already have answered before me. Yeah, and that's it for probably right. There's a few more tutorials which I have to go ahead and record. The weapons, navigation, and rails I still have yet. I've recorded 4. It's been 3.5 hours of recording on stream, and it's tiring. Canator, how do you do it? Oh. Or in which case, goodbye for now, and have fun.